Hello, Stephanie Sargent here, and welcome to the next video in the Burnout Basics series. In this video, we're going to discuss why is burnout so important to nurses. Let's get started. In this video, we're going to talk about two things. What is the prevalence of burnout in nurses? And what is the impact of burnout on those suffering from symptoms, as well as others around them, such as the healthcare organization and even the patient. The prevalence of burnout certainly increased during the COVID-19 pandemic, but before the pandemic, burnout in nurses was found to be in the 15 to 35% range. It depended on the study, the measure, and the setting. 6 months into the pandemic, a Medscape study found that only 17% of nurses stated that they had zero symptoms of burnout. SE Healthcare also conducted burnout surveying of nurses during that same time period, and we found the burnout rate to be 53%. That's shocking. And the reason why that is so shocking is because the impact of burnout is so severe. It crushes the individual, and it's bad for the organization and the patient too. For starters, here's what it does to the individual. It can manifest as a multitude of physiological symptoms, but it could look like insomnia, loss of appetite, anxiety, irritability, apathy, hopelessness, feeling detached or disengaged, or headaches, fatigue, depression. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever dreaded going to work? Perhaps you get that knot in your stomach, or you actually hope that you'll get sick just so that you can call out and not feel guilty? Well, that's a huge red flag. And presenteeism, so that's coming to work while sick, that actually makes burnout worse. Nurses have an immense amount of accountability and responsibility to their team, and they really hate to let them down. I know, I've been there. But presenteeism is actually associated with negative nurse well-being. Let's talk about what burnout in nurses does to the healthcare organization. First, higher turnover. And did you know that to replace a single nurse can cost over $80,000? Absenteeism, such as nurses calling out, which, by the way, is a common coping mechanism, cutting back work hours or calling out sick. But what this could mean is a higher nurse-patient ratio for the other nurses, or a float nurse who may not be completely familiar with your unit's patient population, or an agency nurse, which is very costly, earning as much as 50 to 75% more per hour than the average nurse. And finally, patient satisfaction suffers. All right, speaking of the patient, here's the impact of burnout on patients. Generally, there is lower quality of care. There are higher infection rates, more healthcare acquired conditions such as pressure ulcers, higher patient mortality, and more medical errors. And here's another fact. Burnout is exquisitely portable. And what I mean by that is that it does not impact only the individual and their work, but you take it with you everywhere you go. You take it home to your friends and your families, which could mean strained relationships, perhaps even resulting in divorce or alcohol or drug abuse. And the worst part of it is that a key mitigating factor in burnout is you having an effective rest and recovery. And if your home environment or your personal life are not restorative or supportive, then this could be the tipping point for you into burnout. So burnout is everywhere and all the time. It's bad for the nurse, it's bad for the organization, and it's bad for the patient. It's our hope that it's videos like these that begin to normalize the conversation around burnout. Perhaps taking what you learn here in this video and having a frank discussion with your leadership and addressing burnout in your workplace with the intent of making changes for the better. Okay, that's it for this one. Thanks for all you do, and I'll see you in the next video.